Magic Man, the tennis preacher, the prophet, the psychic, and y'all know the tennis pastor, that Pastor Reed, coming back at you again with another video. It's time to roll, people. Let's roll. I want to respond. People, I was planning on doing a topic on this. I was planning on doing 2 or 3 videos. I sort of got behind in this, but I wanted to review the Djokovic versus Federer rivalry, because they could meet possibly in the final. And so I want to respond to FedEx. Yes, the name is FedEx. Shout out to FedEx, a true Federer fan. So that it's important that I tell you all, this is a Federer fan saying this. Okay, FedEx wrote me a long comment section. It was a good comment section. I mean, good comment. Let me tell you what he said. Okay, he said, he's almost like terrified of the Djokovic right now. He knows what the Djokovic did to Federer and Nadal in his peak. He said Federer needs to get, he said, I am terrified of this, the Djokovic. I'm sort of summing up sort of what he's saying, that the Djokovic is back or almost back. Most people will agree with that. I did say there is a doubt or debate or confusion about is he totally back? And I think I told y'all in a video, I think he's back as far as level and skill and rhythm and match play, but he may not be back as far as totally believing in himself. I think he believes in himself to a good extent, but is it enough to be a Federer or Nadal? So let me get back to FedEx's comment. FedEx said that he's like terrified that Federer gonna be in trouble if he faced the Djokovic. FedEx said that Federer, now here's a Federer fan saying this. He said Federer, man, he better get tough with the Djokovic, because the Djokovic is not playing around. Man, it's almost like, I'm not going to say I don't think he threw Federer under the bus, but I almost felt that, like, now somebody may say, well, this Federer fan is right. The Djokovic during his peak, he owned Federer during the peak. Now I know the head-to-head, the Djokovic is just 2 ahead, but we know the Djokovic beat Federer 3 times during his peak. So somebody could say, Magic Man, this FedEx guy just being fair, and he's just telling it like it is. And Magic Man, you said yourself back when you was talking about the greatness of the Djokovic 4 months ago, you said yourself, Magic Man, that people were saying that Djokovic is the best and even the greatest they ever seen. I mean, we know that Djokovic is not as great as Nadal and Federer now, but back just 3 years ago, there is thousands of articles on Google where people, experts, fans saying they think that Djokovic is the best and the greatest they ever seen and the best they ever seen. So Magic Man, this FedEx fan, he's not talking crazy to be saying that he's terrified that the Djokovic could beat Federer in the final if Federer don't have his act together. Okay, people, I agree with FedEx there, but you may be saying, well, Magic Man, is there something about the comment that bothers you? That the Federer fan is saying Federer better watch out if he plays the Djokovic in the final. Okay, people, of course, a high level the Djokovic could beat a high-level Federer. I get all that, and I do appreciate the Federer fan, FedEx being fair and not biased. I mean, but I think even if you ain't being biased, I still think you got to make sure you correct with what you're saying. So you would say, well, Magic Man, you seen that you are bothered by something FedEx said. Okay, people, I'm a little bothered by that. I think, first of all, I think Federer is more mentally stronger now than then, okay? Now, I do think Federer needs to prove. He's proved he could beat Nadal. Beat Nadal 5 consecutive times. Not on clay, but on the other surfaces, he took care of Nadal. But most of it wasn't on grass, but he really doesn't have to prove that he can beat Nadal on grass. He got 8 Wimbledons. But he's beaten Nadal 2 times on grass. Nadal's beat him 1 time. But Federer did prove he he can take, if Nadal, he proved he can take her Nadal. If Nadal is not in his head, he beat Nadal 5 consecutive times, and most of it was straight sets, okay? That's enough for me. But Federer hasn't proven he could beat the Djokovic, okay, now. But now here's another thing. He hasn't had the chance to, because the Djokovic has been injured, okay? But now Federer has a chance to prove he can beat the Djokovic. Now, what do I think about that? And what do I think about and can I explain what is it I sort of disagree and is sort of bothered by what Federer said. Okay, I'm not totally bothered by what Federer said, because Federer is talking some real stuff. The Djokovic did own Federer during the Djokovic's peak. So, but then you said, well, Magic Man, there is something you're bothered by. Okay, this is what I'm a little bothered by. And I think Federer, if you read his comment, I think he threw Federer under the bus a little bit. I mean, he sort of threw Federer under the bus too quickly. People, listen, okay. People, the Djokovic did beat Federer 3 times. One time in the U.S. Open. That was actually an ugly match, actually. Both of them played bad. They was losing serves and everything. I mean, that's strange. The Djokovic and Federer losing serves. They were breaking each other's serves. Even though the Djokovic won, it was an ugly match from both of them, okay? Now, the Djokovic beat Federer twice in the Wimbledon here. And now, one of those Wimbledons, Federer was actually favored because he was playing that well. And I remember one of the Wimbledon's people, it was like 3-3. Both of them playing at high level. The Djokovic playing at high level. Federer playing at high level. And then all of a sudden at 3-3, y'all know how it is, the Djokovic, Federer felt that pressure. Now, somebody could say, is it the pressure? Federer's level started to break. Now, somebody could say, well, his level broke because the Djokovic level was so high. Okay, I got that. And Federer got nervous. But sure enough, at 3-3, Federer was hanging with the Djokovic, no problem. Walking around with the Federer swag. You know, that Federer swag, making it look easy, even against the Djokovic. But then Federer, his level broke, and the Djokovic broke him at like 4, and the Djokovic broke him at 3-3, and the Djokovic went up on serve at 4-3. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, not even on serve. The Djokovic was serving at 4-3 to make it 5-3. Okay, so somebody would say, well, Magic Man, you proving what Federer is saying, is that Federer, he got a problem with the Djokovic. Okay, people, this is what I think. Now, listen, who do I think would win if they matched up, people? People, I probably would go with, now, listen, this is not the official preview, but I would probably still go with Federer. And I'm going to tell you why. The first reason is, I said, even though the Djokovic looked like he's back, I don't think the Djokovic believes in himself the way he used to. I think it's coming. I think he's like 70% believing in himself. I think there's a 30% that he doesn't have as far as the belief in self. And I think Federer totally believes in himself on grass. Okay, so that's the first reason I probably would still go with Federer, even though I know what Federer said is true. But I'm saying I think that's more true for the past. Okay, the second reason I'm gonna still probably go with Federer, I think Federer is more mentally stronger than he used to be. That he just ain't gonna break and start shanking balls the way he did in 2 of those Wimbledon final matches he lost against the Djokovic. So I think Federer is more mentally stronger. Okay, now here's another reason why. I think if Federer, if he keeps his high level, I don't think Federer is afraid of the Djokovic. I think he's afraid of the Djokovic if his level drops. Okay. Now somebody can say, well, Magic Man, maybe the Djokovic makes Federer's level drop. Okay, I sort of understand that, but I think right now, I think if Federer got his level, I think he's all right against the Djokovic. I think he'll feel all right that he can still win, and I think he still feels he can believe in himself. Not even think. I think he will believe that he can beat the Djokovic if his level is okay. Now, here's another thing, people, why I'm going to still hang with Federer against the Djokovic here. I don't think Federer has a problem with the Djokovic's game. Now you probably saying, wait a minute, Magic Man, the Djokovic owns Federer during the Djokovic peak. But people, listen, you know how the Dow was in Federer's head back in the day, and it was obvious. Federer had a problem with Nadal, and Nadal was tripping his head off. People, listen, remember, people, with the Djokovic, y'all remember the Djokovic, Federer had double match point twice, 2 consecutive years, 2 years in a row in the U.S. Open. Was it the 2010, 2011, or one of those two, or 2009? I think it was 2010, 2011. Federer had double match point. Even the Djokovic said he closed his eyes and he had 2 shots on the line, people. So, people, what does that mean? Well, somebody might say, well, Magic Man, you proving once again it's better to go with the Djokovic. No, people, for the argument I'm making that Federer doesn't have a problem with the Djokovic's game. If he had double match point, that means he had no problem up to double match point. So whatever went wrong then, whether it was just luck or Federer sort of faltered under pressure, I think it was luck. Even the Djokovic said he closed his eyes and just swung at the ball. Okay? And it looked like Federer, he didn't play that timid. Okay, so but my point is that proves that Federer didn't have a problem getting the double match point in the U.S. Open both times. Now here's another thing, people, as far as that Federer doesn't have a problem with the Djokovic's style of play. That's what I'm saying. People, y'all remember in 2011, it was either in the quarters of the French Open or the semifinals, because I'm talking off the top of my head, but I think I almost got it right. Y'all remember the Djokovic had won like 41 or 42 consecutive matches. Y'all know who stopped the Djokovic? Nobody could stop him. It was Roger Federer. He stopped and beat him in 4 sets. It was out of the quarters of the French Open or the semis, and beat him handily. Like, hey man, no problem. This is no problem. So I'm saying a high-level Federer that's not mentally stronger, I'm going to still go with him to beat the Djokovic, where there may be a question as great as his game looks, and it looked like he's back, he may not be totally back from a belief system standpoint, as far as believing in himself against a... See, here's another thing. FedEx is like assuming that the Djokovic is going to beat Nadal. I'm not sure the Djokovic is going to beat Nadal. Y'all remember? Listen, people, I may take Nadal to beat the Djokovic. Forget going against Federer because of that belief thing. I think Nadal is believing in himself on the grass right now. I think Nadal's belief on grass may be a little higher than the Djokovic's belief on grass. So forget about the Djokovic playing Federer, FedEx. I'm not sure the Djokovic could beat Nadal on grass, but let's assume, but we're just assuming that he does beat Nadal just for the sake of continuing this conversation. But people, yeah, this is going to be, if it is the Djokovic versus Federer, I do agree with FedEx here. I think Federer needs to prove that he can take care, that a high-level Federer can take care of a high-level Djokovic. But back to the question here. Can Federer beat the Djokovic now? I think he can. And because I think Federer believes in himself at a higher level on grass than the Djokovic believes in himself on grass right now. Okay? But you never know. It's definitely a great rivalry to be looked at again and see, can he take care of the Djokovic, and can the Djokovic continue? Is he playing at a high enough level, and does he believe in himself enough to beat Federer the way he used to beat Federer, okay, and everybody else? And let me just say this here, people, to let y'all, before somebody comment and say, Magic Man, you crazy, the Djokovic is going to beat Federer easy, you don't know how great the Djokovic was. Yes, I do, man. The Djokovic, I told people the Djokovic got records in Wikipedia that blows up Wikipedia. The Djokovic dominated Federer and Nadal. I got that. People were saying the Djokovic is the best ever seen. I'm aware of that. You guys just go back and click the Djokovic greatness, the tennis prophet. I did 4 or 5 videos on how great the Djokovic was. And believe me, I'm the one guy, I've given the Djokovic total props. But I'm going to go, I'm pretty sure Vegas got Federer favored. I'm going to favor Federer over the Djokovic. I'm going with Vegas, okay? Tennis Preacher, which I don't know what the Vegas odds are going to be by the time it happens. I don't know. I still think Vegas is going to go. They may bring it closer. They may bring the Djokovic closer to Federer, right under Federer as far as a favorite. But I'm pretty sure Vegas is still going with Federer to win the Wimbledon and also to beat the Djokovic. Okay, people, Tennis Preacher, sorry the video was so long. I wanted to do this quicker, but this the Djokovic versus Federer. This is an in-depth thing. Tennis Preacher, Prophet, Psychic, signing off. Have a good one.
Last one right here. Here we go. Can I dance?